Hey, hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Diablo 3. This is Season 4, and this is still my hardcore witch doctor. Last video update I showed, she basically just reached level 70 and was starting on Torment 1, running rifts and things. Currently I'm Paragon level 74, and I've been just doing a mix of questing for the bounties and running regular rifts, greater rifts, slowly building up my gear. It's been going less fast than I'd expected, but I have managed to add together a couple of set items and I have adjusted my build accordingly. So here is the current state of my build. Let's begin with items. So I still have Henry's Perquisition as my offhand. This item is still ridiculously good. The Charming, excellent. Damage reduction the first time you get hit, excellent. It's got mana regen, it's got maximum mana, it's got crit chance, it's got very good base stats. I mean, damage into fatality. This item can't be much better. Ignore durability loss. I could probably reroll into something that's actually useful, because that's kind of a dead mod, but for the rest I can't really say anything bad about it. I'm still looking for something that's better than the Henry's Perquisition, so I can put this into the Kanai's cube. So far I haven't found anything, so that's a very good sign. This is a very, very good item. Weapon slots, just the biggest one-handed weapon you can find currently. That's Axarian. Still looking to upgrade it. Nothing too special about it. Rings, this is a rare with the Enforcer rune. Increases the damage of my pets. This is currently my primary gem that I'm focusing on for leveling in my Great Rifts. Other ring, I've got Zunimasa's Haunt. Basically it's somewhere in between a placeholder and a set that I would want to have at 4 pieces. 2 pieces it's rubbish, 4 pieces it would be nice, then there will be trade-offs I have to make. Let me explain. 2 pieces, you get a fetish army that lasts forever with a reduced cooldown. The thing is, I have to sacrifice a skill. Currently I'm looking at Piranhas as the most likely skill to replace. For the 2 piece, all you get is the fetishes. That's 8 bodies on the floor, or less bodies with more special abilities depending on how you specialize it. At 4 pieces, both me and all my other pets take 2% less damage for every fetish I've got alive. So, in the passives, quick jump, I'll go back to the gear soon, I got fetish sycophants, so that's up to 15 dagger wielding maniacs running around in active combat. The army adds between 5 and 8 as well, so let's say I go for 8. That's 23 fetishes, 23 times 2, 46% damage reduction. Takes my toughness from 12.7 million to virtually 25 million toughness. That's a lot. That's very good for survivability. I could probably jump up a Paragon difficulty. I'm currently at Torment 4. And this fits very well for what I'm doing now. The damage is okay and my tank is okay. I need to step up my, basically just upgrade my gear to get to Torment 5. Doubling the size of my tank more than would allow that, at least on the tank side. And I've got Invigorating Gemstone in here, so while under a control impairing effect, it reduces all damage taken by 30%. It's a filler. I want the Wildebeest Gizzard, just for the insane amounts of life regen. But until then, this is a defensive one that works very well as well. So, Amulet, it's just a Ouroboros, pretty plain amulet, nothing special about it. Probably want a Hellfire to get access to another passive, but for now, it's what I got with the Wreath of Lightning, and I'm not sure if I showed that in the previous video or not, but this one is amazing. You get the Conduit effect for free, basically all the time, because every time you hit, it kicks in, and the entire build is doing damage over time effects that spread, so there's a lot of hitting, so this kicks in quite often. Let's see, this is just steady strikers, that's just standard good stats, nothing special. The belt, Locust Swarm, also slows enemies by 60%. That's very nice. I got Locust Swarm. Let's see, let's move this onto the side. So, move myself. So, Locust Swarm, enemies deal 25% less damage. This also slows them by 60%. That's a win. If they stay in place, they are not going anywhere. They get swarmed, they get killed. That's good. Let's see. So then the rest. Helltooth. Got 2 pieces. Currently, I found the helmet, and I think it's the legs. Yes. So for this build, that means that the zombie dogs in Gargantuan apply necrosis as well as piranhas. And necrosis basically means enemies are going to die. They take 20% extra damage from all sources, and on top of that, every single second, they take 15 times my weapon damage. 15 times, that's a lot. And the pets, there's 8 of them, 5 and 3, because I have the little man's finger, short man's finger, I don't know, some man's finger that splits up the Gargantuan. So there's a lot of pets applying it. But wave of piranhas, this will hit a lot of enemies, inflicting them with necrosis. That's why wave of piranhas, or wave of mutilation, is an insane damage dealer. And on top of that, they also take 15% increased damage. So that's kind of a theme. They do less damage, they take more damage, they get slowed. Control. I'm still all about control. The essence of the build hasn't really changed. I'm just changing how I apply it. Helltooth, definitely a good set. 2-piece bonus, great. It's easy to get. Helltooth starts dropping pretty frequently. 2 pieces, it's very worth it to get, since chances are you're gonna get at least 1 or 2 skills that apply necrosis, and by itself, that's worth it. Oh, enemies also become slowed. That's a nice bonus on top. The 4-piece Helltooth is also very, very worth taking. After applying necrosis, they take 50% I take 50% reduced damage for 10 seconds. So 1 enemy gets hit with necrosis, my toughness gets doubled. Everything basically is necrosis all the freaking time. So my toughness is always doubled. Only exception being when I'm out of combat, or in between combats, and before I first engage an enemy. That's the only time where my toughness will be at the normal 12 million rather than about 25 million. So getting a 4-tooth Helltooth bonus, very worth it. If you're lucky enough to get the Ring of Royal Grandeur, which I don't have yet, then it's even easier because you only need 3 pieces. So I also have the Helltooth Mantle, so that's 1, 2, and 3. So all I'm looking for is another piece to complete that. Next set, Jade Harvester. I've got the 2-piece. If you haunt something twice, you instantly deal 10 seconds worth of haunt damage. Very, very powerful. Haunt is the core skill still. I think I switched the rune on Haunt. I used to have the Poison Spirit, so they took 20% more damage. Thing was, Piranhas are 250 mana. Locust Swarm is 300 mana. Health mana pool is only 871. Haunt also costs 50, and I'm using a one-handed weapon, so that means I'm attacking 1.5 times per second. I need more mana than I got, even with my gear providing it for me. So switching from Poison Spirit to Draining Spirit, on paper you would say I deal less damage, but because I gain more mana, especially when I manage to affect multiple enemies with Haunt, that allows me to apply the other skills more consistently. Being able to wave of Piranhas multiple times to keep all the enemies affected probably does a lot more damage, also inflicting with a 15% increased damage. It does a lot more damage than the Poison Spirit by itself would. So Haunt, it's still a damage skill, but it's been reduced from a primary damage skill with a damage support bonus to mana support. Still good, just slightly less damage. It's an enabler. And I think that wraps it up, doesn't it? So yeah, Jade Harvester, how to Zunimasa. And I got Black Thorns in here basically because the stat bonuses was better than I had. I think I had Sunimasa's armor on it before. I'm not using Fetish Army, so the two parts, so the set bonus doesn't apply. And the stats are solid. So item-wise, that's it. Let's see the cube. Genzaniku on the weapon. Basically, you get an extra fallen that does a attack every once in a while. It's extra bodies on the floor. Fits the theme of the build. It's not crucial in any way. If you have anything that does reliable damage, anything useful, go for it. Basically keeping the slot open for Henry's perquisition, because that's the thing that so far I think should go there. Armor, still St. Andrew's Gauge. I think for hardcore, St. Andrew's Gauge is the best option for this slot. If you have a better suggestion for this, please let me know. I'm interested to hear if there's things that are even better than St. Andrew's Gauge. But I think the safety this one provides is it's absolutely crucial for hardcore. And jewelry, Shortman's Finger, because it's awesome. I probably just need to get a regular Shortman's Finger if I get a Ring of Royal Grandeur. Then again, this is a rare, so we'll see how that goes. On towards the skills. Haunt, Draining Spirit, we still got that one. Locust Swarm, Cloud of Insects, that's still the same, 25% reduced damage on enemies. It's good for safety. Piranhas, it spreads necrosis. Jaunt, yeah, safety, enough said. Zombie Dogs, Chilled to the Bone. This is to keep enemies chilled and make them inflict more damage. You can make an argument for Burning Dogs. Zombies spread necrosis when they hit something. If you set them on fire, they deal more damage to everything that's surrounding them. So that's a trade-off. So against larger groups of enemies, Burning Dogs is probably going to get them killed faster. But against single targets, boss fights, Rift Guardians, things like that, Chilled to Bone, probably a bit better because crowd control. So that's my trade-off for now, just going with safety and control. Gargantuan, Bruiser, same argument as with the dogs. I could go for Big Stinker, deal more area damage, infect more enemies with necrosis. On the other hand, I've seen just 3 of the Bruisers stunning enemies. It's insane. Boss fights become a heck of a lot safer this way, because the enemies are basically stunned until their crowd control immunity kicks in. And the moment the crowd control immunity wears off, they get stunned again. It's very nice. Creeping Death, Haunt, Locust, and the damage bonus from Piranhas last forever. That's the key. Things die and keep dying until there's nothing around you or in the next screen. Zombie Handler, more life, and then an extra zombie, always good. Fetish Sycophants, what's not to like about a swarm of dagger-wielding maniacs. And Midnight Feasts to boost the damage dealt by the pets and to get an extra zombie dog. So if you have a Hellfire Amulet, that allows you an extra passive. Fierce Loyalty, probably. The extra pets, extra movement speed. Very, very, very nice. Alternatively, mana, spiritual attunement, just getting extra mana and regenerating more mana. It just loosens the attention you have to spend to the mana pool. You could probably do something different with Haunt again. Switch that to either the one that boosts damage. Let's see, what was it called again? The Poison Spirit, or go to Consuming Spirit if you want to drain a lot of life. Because in the end, you know, I got 900,000 life. This is a small fraction. This is less than 1%. This is about 0.5%. But if you got 20 enemies affected with Haunt, that's still 10% of your life. So this stacks. This has the potential to stack, and especially because Haunt lasts forever and just spreads between enemies against very big mobs, this could potentially become a lot of life. So it just... This would allow you more freedom. Jungle Fortitude, very good for tanking. Bad Medicine is also good if you reduce their damage by dealing poison damage, which Piranhas do, and only the Piranhas do. Well, if this is the damage one, it also does poison. Then Bad Medicine could be an option. Pierce the Veil, all the damage is increased by 20%, but you spend more mana. Doesn't really work well with Locusts and Piranhas, but it's useful anyway. You'd need to be more careful, or switch the Piranhas back to Wall of Death or something, because it doesn't use mana. But yeah, it is an option, but one I probably wouldn't go for myself, because I like more mana stable builds. Okay, so let's see, this build, I'm currently at Torment 4. Let's see, highest record I got with this one so far has been tier 20 of a Great Rift solo. Did it in just under 10 minutes. So Torment 4 is actually pretty good spot for me right now. So I'll jump into... Actually, let's run another one. Just to see it again. Let's see some of the pets. So, waving, locusting, haunting, and everything just melts. Locust, haunt, and you just keep applying haunt. And this build, I currently got 35% chance to crit due to some lucky item mods, and 170% bonus damage from that crit. So crit damage spikes quite often. Let's see, but you see my health bar move. It rarely goes below 50%, but it does move. That's the main reason I'm sticking to this level of difficulty. Because if my health drops to 50% every once in a while, that's okay. If I go higher difficulty than that, then my health bar is going to drop lower more frequently. And I'm at real risk of dying, and I really prefer not to die. So basically it's there's a rhythm to this build. You Piranha, you Locust, you start haunting, and most of the time you see the conduit-like effect just doing its thing as well, inflicting quite a bunch of damage. Let's see, the circle on the floor is from my follower, which is part of the Oculus Ring effect. So if I stand in it, I deal more damage. It's funny, if I apply the Locust and the Haunt, that's not really impressive. The moment the Piranhas kick in, you see health bars evaporate because the damage is just so insane. You see my mana just struggling to keep up. Especially with the Piranhas being chain cast. 250 mana every 8 seconds basically means 30 mana regen per second is reserved by the Piranhas, which is quite a lot. So Locust Swarm is the one that I apply the least often, but it spreads by itself, so you don't need to apply it that often either, which is good. I'm currently just barely keeping pace with the timer. Could be the demo effect, could be a different roll of the monsters. I mean, I did it once before. I was keeping pace with the timer and only just slowly gaining on it. I think I had maybe I had some slightly more aggressive gems in my sockets back then. Maybe I was playing more aggressively or focusing slightly more on the game, because I'm explaining as well now, so I'm dividing my attention, which if you want to do a very excellent job of running a rift, you probably don't want to divide your attention, just want to be 100% focused. But I did it before, so I should be able to do it again. And this way you can see this build at my current level performing basically on the edge of what I can do. But it's still a fun build, it's a pretty safe build. Just having all those pets run around, I like it. So power pylon, let's hope this is a good safe side area. Oh, this is the main corridor rather than the side area. Oh, it looks like this is the corridor, so that's good.
I need
Mana, it's my primary concern. As always. So. I think I hit a conduit pylon rather early in my previous run. I think that's also one of the reasons why I had a pretty decent time on it. So just spreading the hold around before I start piling it up on single targets. Just to get more mana. Okay. Let's hope we're lucky. I think the haunts 10 seconds of damage applied in a single instant bonus. It crits for 20 to 21 million right now. That's the highest numbers I've seen this build do so far. And stand in the circle, do more damage. 23. 18 million. And if you consider that my base damage is only 300,000, that's a pretty decent multiplier, I'm thinking. I doubt this is going to be a 10-minute run. But I like how flexible the Witch Doctor is and how much synergy there seems to be between the different sets. So you can actually mix and match multiple sets with multiple intended styles of gameplay and get something fun out of it, rather than being strictly pigeonholed into playing one or the other, but not being able to combine both. So that's a definite win in my book. And it's funny now that we got the Kanai's cube, you really start paying attention to the legendary effects of all the legendaries. You notice just how many legendaries are still just glorified rares. As in, hey, there was something special up here. So glorified rares, as in there's no legendary affix on them, there's only stats. Maybe decent stats, but there's nothing overly special about them. Like everything is haunted, everything is locusted. So let's spam a haunt on the boss. My health bar is fluctuating. This is always a good test of the tank. Just stand in the poison or the arcane beams or whatever. Let's see how it behaves. So progress. It's just silly how much damage the Piranhas do. I think I said it before, but I really think Diablo has moved into the realm of silly numbers. So something like the health 2 set, it's a nice concept, but the numbers get absolutely ridiculous, which is necessary, of course, if you want to compete on the higher levels of Torment. But it does mean that without sets like these and without the crazy set bonuses, you have a hard time actually surviving on the higher Torment levels, so you can't level up until you actually get those set bonuses. Channeling pylon. Come on, get out of the way. I want it. Been casting my fishies all the time? Yes, please. This means we can actually run around a bit. Oh no, we're looping. That's not good. Dang, that's not good. So things will just die on their own, and there's no loot to worry about, which is good. It also means I really should start running over here and hope there's an exit. Yes, okay. Things are progressing again. Would be bad if I had to backtrack to like over here. A greater rift, you don't want that. That's still the random factor, I suppose. If we get a very nice layout, just single straight line. Now we're branching, monsters that just line up pretty well. That don't throw up shield bubbles or weird things like that. You can have a very successful run.
Need more mana.
So they are melting here. This is a very favorable matchup. Areas with lots of smaller enemies is a definite favorite matchup for this build. If enemies get lower in number and just trickier to deal with on an individual basis, that's gonna work less. Just because you're just so good at clearing AoE things. And there is every boss, come on. Exploding lunatics. Let's not bump into them. And we have a guardian over there. Erathon. Come on. Behind the door. Hello. What's your stick? 1.1 billion HP. Make sure he's locusted. Let's wait up and then piranha him. And then keep spamming Haunt. And he should be down before any of the bonuses wear off. That was a greater rift. What did we get? Ooh, legendary belt, helm, Mutilation guard. So let's this is the Jade. Jade harvest is wisdom. The belt. Chrome's buff belts. That doesn't seem like a witch doctor thing. It's a speed boost, that's pretty decent. That's a very nice standalone bonus actually. Mutilation guard, 10% melee damage reduction. And below 30% life you gain basically the effect of Spirit Walk. That's pretty cool. Okay, well. That was it. So we buff the Enforcer gem. Let's see, rank 10. And now 90% chance to succeed. Sweet. So, rank 12. It's a slight damage boost.
I need to go back.
Okay, so I explained the build in very much detail and I did a greater rift, I think, for now. That's it. I didn't improve my previous time, but it was a good run anyway. So I thank you very much for watching, and there's probably going to be another video update in another week or so as I assemble more set pieces and achieve more Paragon levels. Ooh, speaking of Paragon levels, how have I been spending them so far? So, core, intelligence, it's damage and resist all. That's and especially because damage gets multiplied to such ridiculous levels, I felt putting points into intelligence was a safe bet. Alternatively, could put points into movement speed just to move through the rifts quicker. Might be useful. Vitality to increase the size of your tank, but currently I think damage is the weakest point of this build because I'm focusing so much on survivability. So I figured just get some extra intelligence out of the core stats. Offense, critical hit damage. Well, I've got a 35% crit chance, so boosting the damage, it's every 3 points basically is 1% extra damage in the crit. It's because of the high crit chance, crit frequency. So that's a decent one. Defense, resist all. Nope. Preventing damage is a good thing. Resist all, it boosts the effect of everything. It's your life, every point of life becomes worth more because incoming damage gets reduced. Life regeneration gets a boost because if there's less life lost, regeneration effectively generates more effective HPs. Next up is probably going to be armor. After this, similar effects, but armor I think scales less well for this character because I'm not primarily armor focused. That's why I started with the resistol. Utility, life on hit. There's a lot of hitting going on. So this makes sure that my health bar, my health bulb, basically instantly goes full again. And the other ones are just not that good. Maybe area damage is pretty potent. But gold find, couldn't care less. Research cost reduction 0.2%. Don't think it does too much. I mean, for this current build, 18 points, will be like 4 or 5%, 4.6% or something. It's just nothing, not worth it. Life on hit is worth more than. Yeah, okay, that's it for real. So once again, I thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.